This is such an exciting time. AI is just changing everything. It's given everyone just an unbelievable amount of power that's available at the touch of a button, and it's been particularly exciting in the field of patents. I decided to make this video, talk with people about how to use AI to help with your inventions, and also to bring to your attention certain potential downsides and dangers. Now, the first thing that I see a lot of people doing with AI is actively talking with the AI, having a conversation back and forth as they're developing the idea. And this seems to be absolutely amazingly successful, especially if you get good with prompts. It can really give you fantastic information, feedback, new ways to thinking about the things that you're trying to work on. It's just a tremendous amount of power. The thing that to be careful with though is that it's a very unreliable source of feedback. It may sound very convincing, it may have lots of footnotes and substantiations for what they're saying, but you have to keep in mind it could be completely made up as well. So that's one of the biggest dangers with AI, is that you don't want to rely entirely on it because what it's saying may be completely wrong. They call them hallucinations. It's not even a mischaracterization of something. It's something that the AI will just totally make up. Once you've worked out the basics about what the invention is, the AI is very good with helping with a preliminary patent search to see what's already out there. This should be something that everyone does as soon as you start working on an idea. If it looks like it might be something exciting, just immediately prompt it as to work as a patent attorney in whatever field you're inventing in, and ask it to find whatever patents that are the most similar. Now, this also is very similar. It may immediately return the exact same idea, so it can be very, very powerful, and it can point out things that are just not patentable right away. But it can also completely make things up. So when it cites certain patents to you, pull those patents up and actually read them yourself, because what they say in the actual patent may be totally different than what the AI says that they say. I've had a lot of cases where it'll say that it found the exact same thing, but then when you read it, it's actually about something completely different. Once again, trust but verify. If you aren't able to find anything, if it comes back and says that it's not been done, at that point, I would 100% do a professional search, because it's just flat out wrong a lot of the time. Clients coming to me all the time explaining how they've already done the search using AI, and then I find the exact same thing. So it's a great screening tool, but sometimes people decide not to use searches in any case. I really do think that searches are the way to go. You're going to be putting a lot of time and money into this thing, and you don't want to find out at the end of the process that this thing has already been done. And to give you an idea about how bad things can get, I once had a client who came in with an invention, didn't want to do a search. It actually started doing really well. Early signs were that it might be a really good idea. He started putting a lot of time and money into it. And then we found out at the end that someone already had a patent on it. He hadn't anticipated investing so much time and money into it, but when it started looking really positive, he put in a lot, and a lot of that was then put in jeopardy because he hadn't done the search at the beginning. The same thing can happen with even if you're licensing. Sometimes people will skip searches if it's licensing because it's really kind of on the licensee to do a patent search. You don't want to waste a bunch of your time and effort and then find out at the end they come back and say, oh, we were about to sign this agreement, and then we found out it was already done. I recommend doing the search, having the screening search done by AI, but then definitely if it looks like it does have value, I would, before you put anything significant into it, I have a professional search done just to see where you stand. The last step of the puzzle, which is exciting but also dangerous, is using AI to write the patent application, which once again, it's very similar to the others. It can do a fantastic job. It certainly looks very convincing, but very frequently they'll have fatal problems in them. I would say it's probably best for something like a provisional or something that's a temporary filing. That's where they're probably a little more helpful, and it can also be helpful to use as a disclosure with your patent attorney. But in the end, I would definitely have it reviewed by a patent attorney at the very least, and usually just treat it more as a disclosure for them to do a complete application. Some of it may be usable, but there are a lot of things that can go wrong with what they prepared. It can give you a good first draft of a claim, but I would never rely on an AI-generated claim in the real world because it can very frequently put in limitations that are really, really bad. So that's really where you need a patent attorney to review those claims and make sure that they're done right. The other big caveat that you have to be very careful of is, again, with the hallucinations. If you give that disclosure to your patent attorney without any further disclosure, There could be things that are flat out wrong in there, and your patent attorney's not going to know that they're wrong because you're giving it to them and they're going to think that it's what you intended. So at the very least, I would say read it very carefully. AI is very bad at tricking you into thinking wrong things are correct because it does it so correctly. You don't usually have someone write a powerful, well-documented, well-thought-out document that isn't actually well thought out at all. Usually they appear to be really good, and they tend to be pretty good. But in this case, it could have a very convincing description about something that's just 100% wrong, and it can be very damaging to your patent application. It could very easily say things that can really damage your patent. When you're in litigation later on and they say, hey, you said X, and you say, well, no, I didn't really intend that. That was AI. Well, that's not going to help you. Whatever you say in there is going to come back to haunt you. So at the very least, read it through very carefully and make sure that it's actually accurate. It's difficult to do that because when you're reading it, you tend to skim a little bit when it seems really good, and you have to really force yourself to read word by word and make sure that it's actually correct. I would actually recommend that you give your own pre-written disclosure before you use AI in any way. That way the attorney at the very least can see how it's supposed to be. They can potentially point out, hey, this is, what it says in this disclosure is different than this other one. I would say AI is something that all inventors should be working with. It's amazingly powerful, but you have to be very careful. It can be very dangerous as well. And good luck with your inventing.